Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daniela and this is Crafting with a Cocktail. I am so excited you're here. If you're new, I hope you stay and subscribe, and if you've already been subscribed, I'm even more grateful for you guys. Let's hop right in to our first Mackenzie-Childs inspired spring DIY. Cheers! It's so full. Alright friends, I have two beautiful DIYs for you today, starting with this wall hanging or painting. I know it's not hanging on a wall, but you know what I mean. It's a decorative art piece that you can put on a wall or standing on a table or a shelf like I did. I am taking a canvas panel, and yes, I'm showing you that I'm painting it white because it is assumed that a white canvas should be left white, but then all of the texture of it will not be the same as the rest of the piece. So that's why I'm showing it to you. Even though it's a white canvas, it's important to paint it white. If you guys are interested in that heat gun, by the way, it'll be linked in my description box below. Now I'm using this method that I've seen on a few different channels for different reasons, and I'm just spacing out my lines using a little piece of blue painter's tape in between each one so that I make sure that all of my lines are perfectly equal. You guys know that I'm not much of a perfectionist, but I do know that it does not look cool when your lines are all sorts of jagged and crisscrossy and slanted. So I'm doing my best here to really pay attention and make all my lines nice. Then I go the opposite way, so now I'm going vertically and doing the same exact thing, just creating a grid. Once we have this grid created, we're gonna paint it black. I did end up doing 2 coats, but I'm just showing you one of them. Once that is half dry, not completely dry because it might lift off more paint than you want, so only partially dry, I'm going to rub up all of my blue tape, and then I'm going to set it down in a different way, which you'll see in a minute here. But I'm just being very careful because I don't want to touch any of the black paint and leave fingerprints everywhere, and I'm just lifting it all up. Now once I've lifted that tape off, I did wait again till it was completely dry, or you could use your heat gun on a low setting. The reason I say low is because I'm working on a plastic drop cloth or shower curtain. In this case, it's a cheap Dollar Tree shower curtain, and it did melt it a little bit if I put my heat gun too close or put it on high. So you could do that or use a blow dryer. Now I'm covering up, I'm using the same technique to cover up the lines of squares I already did, and I'm gonna go the opposite way as well. So since I already showed you this technique once, I'm just going to speed through it. Then we're going to repeat the process and paint all those new squares black as well. For this one, I ended up only needing one heavy coat of black. I'm not sure what the difference was or if I did things differently the first time, but yeah, this time I only needed one heavy coat of black as opposed to 2. And once again, when you've done that, you don't want to wait for it to completely dry. You just want to peel those pieces right up so they don't rip off any extra paint. And if it doesn't turn out perfect, it's okay. I end up touching some up off screen anyways, but you should still at least have that checkered look to it. Once you've got that all dried again, now completely dry, I'm cutting up some flowers that I felt like really embodied that Mackenzie-Childs kind of feel, and then just started playing with that and where I wanted those to be before gluing them down. when you're happy with your arrangement and your variety of colors, I also ended up adding some leaves in there too, if you can see those. You can just hot glue those babies down. I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue. I just find that it works really, really well. Again, before I did any of this, I did go back off camera and fix up any super jagged lines, so it's totally okay if your paint job didn't turn out perfectly. You can always fix it up in little spots. But anyways, I figured out the arrangement I liked with a variety of colors, and I'm just gluing them down. And that's it, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Here's how our beautiful Mackenzie-Childs inspired painting, art piece, whatever you want to call it, turned out. I actually really love this, and I love the sense of pattern and color, so I probably will leave this one up year round. I'm so excited to tell you guys that this week's video is part of a challenge or open invite by Indie Annie Jones and Decorating Aunt's Place. I will leave both of their channels down in the description box below, and it is all about decorating like Mackenzie-Childs in springtime, which is full of fun patterns and colors, and I'm all about it, so I'm so excited to be part of this week. Make sure you go check them out below, and now let's check out what this week's drink was, shall we? This week's drink is a cheater spicy margarita. I bought the Rocks Terramana tequila for the first time, and I was not disappointed. So to make this, all you need is some jalapenos, some oranges, some ice, margarita mix, and your preferred tequila. You're going to muddle 2 slices of jalapeno with 1/2 slice, or well, I guess it is a slice, of orange into your margarita glass. You could do it separately, but I wanted all those flavors to sit in the glass as well. Then I threw in a nice amount of ice because I like my drinks nice and cold. I put a nice big shot into it of my tequila and then topped it off with that margarita mix. I like the ones that say that they're either natural or organic, or you can see the pulp in it, as opposed to those like translucent neon green ones that make you wonder. And then I just topped it off. There's my handy dandy chapstick, thanks to my honey. And I just topped it off with that other slice of orange, mixed it all together, and that was it. Again, I don't like salt on my rim, but if you do, go ahead and add it. Just popping in one last time to invite you all who have not subscribed yet to subscribe down below for more fun content and some more fun cocktails. Let's get back to the DIYs. Our second DIY is this Mackenzie-Childs inspired tray. This one's a bit more functional, as a lot of her and his, well, it's a couple, whatever, a lot of their products are actually functional. So I wanted to make something in light of that as well. I am using a Dollar Tree cookie sheet that I just spray painted gold. I focused on the edges so it doesn't have to be perfect in the middle, and I'm actually really glad that I did this before anything else. You'll find out later why. Now I'm just using a big fat brush and some Waverly White chalk paint and just painting across my pan. I won't bore you with that, but just know that I ended up doing 2 coats, making sure it was completely dry in between. This is exactly why I said I was happy about spray painting first. I tried using that same technique to make some stripes. I wasn't going to do the full checkered look, but just some stripes onto my pan, and it literally peeled up all the paint, including some of the gold, on the pan itself, on the sides, everywhere. So don't make this mistake and just, I don't know, eyeball it. But yeah, that really sucked, even using painter's tape. So do not recommend using that onto your chalk paint and your tray. I ended up going outside, laying a piece of some like styrofoamy packing stuff, and just respraying some of the edges because I was really pretty upset that it had ruined that a little bit. So here you see me just kind of fixing up the edges as carefully as I could. Once that was dry, I am taking a brush that's about the width of the stripes that I want, and I end up having to just eyeball it. I thought about measuring them out and drawing them in, but honestly, I think that a pencil would have scraped right through the chalk paint anyways, so I just decided to suck it up and do it myself. I don't mind it anyways. I like the homey feel. You guys know I'm not a perfectionist, so Even though it's not in the Mackenzie-Childs spirit to not have crisp, clean lines, I did do my absolute best as I could, trying to keep everything evenly spaced and not too wobbly. I do get a lot better with time. I don't end up showing you the whole process, but I do get a little bit better with time with each one, and I go back later to fix them too. So take your time with this. Don't expect to be perfect. If you think of a better way to get those straight lines on there that won't ruin the paint, go for it. I just wanted to show you all that it's okay if you make mistakes. That's why I just wanted to quick show you that I do go back and fix up some areas with white paint and some of the black paint as well if I felt like it needed it. So again, really take your time with this and don't be afraid. It's okay to make mistakes. Then, while that dries, I am moving on to cutting out some floral designs from a pad of scrapbook paper I had. These are cardstock, so they're a bit thicker. If you have thinner paper, just like regular computer thickness paper, it might work a little bit better. I'm not sure. I guess it depends on how you do this. But these are a bit thicker. They're cardstock, but they all have the same colors and florals on them, so it worked really well. I picked one with a navy blue background, one with a really light, like sky egg blue background, and one that had polka dots, which I thought added a lot of fun to this black and white patterned look. So just cut out as many as you need. Here I'm cutting out some, but honestly, as I go on, I do end up cutting a lot more off camera because I just felt like it needed it. Then I just played around with the arrangement of this, and this took more time than it looks like it did, so really take your time because this is for you and you want to be happy with this design just like I wanted to be happy with mine. So I took my time figuring out exactly how I wanted this arrangement, and like I said, I did end up cutting and adding more pieces off screen. Once I was happy with my arrangement, I am using some rapid fuse glue or Gorilla Glue or whatever you have in hand, and I'm just putting these down layer by layer, starting with the bottommost pieces and working my way up. So really pay attention to which of your cutouts are on the bottom, just so it all makes sense. I will say, I do wish I would have completely glued them down instead of just putting a spot enough to hold them before I Mod Podged them. They ended up bubbling up after the Mod Podge, so again, I wish I would have gone around the entire outline on the back of each piece and really put that hot glue there to help it really stick down, or maybe Mod Podging them first, but I just thought that would make it too curly, so I don't know. If you have any solutions, let me know. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, is just hot gluing them first, and then I will move on to Mod Podging them. I'm using matte Mod Podge, which is what I had available. I searched and searched for glossy Mod Podge, which I really thought I had, but I couldn't find it, so this worked just fine. I dumped some into my little paint tray and mixed just a small amount of water with it because I just thought it would help glide a little easier, because my Mod Podge is a bit old and it's starting to thicken up. So if yours is nice and runny, don't worry about that, but I ended up just mixing a small amount of water in mine, and I'm just making sure to really well coat all of those edges, especially where the floral cutouts are. So here you can see that I am pressing them down as best I can, and I do end up going back with some of that hot glue, or excuse me, super glue, to get it to stick. I don't know if I show it or not, but I also stick some in the end of a toothpick and just try to sneak it into small areas where I can, and then smoothing it out with Mod Podge all over again. Like I said, I just wanted this to sit as flat as possible, and it was getting a little bit bubbly, so I do end up kind of putzing around and gluing as much as I could. Then I'm using some E6000 along with some hot glue to stick down some pearls. These pearls are going to serve as essentially like faux handles. I wouldn't actually grab them by it, but I wanted that secure hold, so that's why I'm doing both hot glue and E6000 so it sits there permanently. I knew with just the hot glue on the metal surface, it would not be as permanent of a hold. I used one large bead in the middle and two small ones on the side on both sides of my tray and did my best to center them each. And that's it for these Mackenzie-Childs inspired DIYs. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know which one was your favorite, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!